1, 2, 3, 4.
Wanna hear you go.
82% of middle managers are burned out. And here is what most executives miss. This is not a workload crisis. It's a dysregulation crisis, and it starts at the top. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the AI Cafe Conversations. This is your host, Sahar Andrade. I am your AI whisperer. Middle managers are burning out because they are caught between dysregulated leaders above them and anxious teams below them. When executives lead from chaos, demanding AI transformation yesterday, cost cuts tomorrow, more results with less resources, that pressure doesn't just disappear. It's like a pressure cooker. It lands on middle managers. And when those managers try to absorb executive dysregulation while supporting team anxiety, their nervous systems can't handle it. The amygdala, our threat center, stays activated. Cortisol, which is the stress hormone, floods their prefrontal cortex that handles our problem solving and logic thinking. So the clear thinking actually disappears. This is not individual failure. It's organizational dysregulation cascading down from the top. And regulated leaders prevent it before it even starts. So let me share what a Fortune 500 executive told me last week. She said, I used to love this job. Now I have nightmares about conversations that might or might not happen. My boss keeps adding to my plate. My team expects my support. And I can't say this out loud because leaders are not allowed to struggle. How sad is that? But this is the middle manager burnout crisis, and it's not about weakness. Here is the data. 82% of middle managers report burnout. 53% say they are swamped most of the time. And here is the one that still gives me chills. 40% report their mental stress increased after their promotion. Think about that. We take our best individual performance. We hand them a leadership title. Then we leave them to figure it out alone. And here is what executives miss. Middle managers are not just overworked. They are caught in an impossible position. From above, executives want transformation. They want cost cuts. They want AI adoption yesterday. The pressure is relentless. From below, teams are anxious. They are resistant to change. They need time and human attention to navigate uncertainty. And middle managers, they're holding both ends of that rope. Gartner predicted that companies using AI to flatten organizational charts would cut half their middle management roles by 2026. We are there now. Those remaining managers are covering for the people who got cut, and they are hearing do more with less on repeat. Something has to give, something has to break. It's usually the middle manager. But here is what dysregulated leaders don't see. This crisis didn't start with middle managers. It started with dysregulated leadership at the top. When executives lead from their own anxiety, when they cascade pressure with regulation, when they demand transformation without providing support, that dysregulation flows down. Middle managers absorb it. Then they transmit it to their teams. This is not a middle management problem. It's a leadership regulation problem. So this is the neuroscience and why it's happening. It's happening in a burned out middle manager's brain. Your brain has a threat detection center that we call amygdala. By now, whoever follows me knows that. It's built for quick bursts of danger. See a threat, react, calm down, move on. And the cycle keeps repeating. But middle managers today never get to the calm down part. Every email might be a fire. Every meeting might blow up. Every call from above or below could mean trouble. The amygdala stays on constant high alert. It's like turning on the engines of your car and let it run it forever. When that happens, it floods the brain with cortisol, the stress hormone. In short bursts, cortisol helps you respond to danger. But when it never shuts off, it starts creating damage. Specifically, it interferes with your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that controls clear thinking, good decisions, and emotional regulation. So that director waking up at 3 a.m., her brain is not broken. It's doing exactly what brain do when danger feels constant. It keeps scanning. It won't rest. She's stuck in survival mode. And here is what makes this a company-wide problem. A leader running on stress hormones can't make their teams feel safe. Anxious leaders create anxious cultures. That stress doesn't stay in one place. It bleeds in every interaction, every decision, every conversation. Even if you pretend you're fine, your team doesn't buy it. They feel it anyway. Anxiety seeps through nervous systems, not through email chains. This is what I call emotional contagions. When executives operate from dysregulation, that dysregulation cascades down. Middle managers absorb it. Their teams absorb it from them. The entire organization starts operating from threat response. And you can't transform anything from threat response. You can't adopt AI when your amygdala is screaming danger. You can't lead change when your prefrontal cortex is offline. You can't make your team feel safe when your own nervous system is in survival mode. It's a vicious circle. This is why middle managers burnout isn't just an HR problem. It's a transformation problem, because dysregulated middle managers can't lead dysregulated teams through AI disruption. The cascade has to stop, and it has to stop at the top. So why isn't leadership training fixing this? Because most trainings assume managers are operating from a calm, clear headspace. They're not. Here is the reality. Only 37% of middle managers get any training when they are promoted. We take someone who was great at their individual contributor job, we hand them a team, and we expect miracles. Regulate yourself, deal with conflict, translate strategy, develop your people. And by the way, no one is going to show you how. You're just supposed to know. It gets worse. 74% say they never get development after that first promotion either. We act like getting promoted means you have figured leadership out. The reality is you haven't. It's a skill that needs constant work. And when companies do provide training, it focuses on strategy, delegation, performance management, and metrics. Those matter. But they only work if the person learning them can think straight. If they can pause before reacting, if they have the mental bandwidth to hold space for someone else's frustration. But most managers today are maxed out. I have seen this. A manager shows up to training completely exhausted. They nod along, take notes, walk out of the door, and forget everything. Not because the training was bad, but because their brain was too busy trying to survive. There is no space for new information when your nervous system is in threat response. So no, the issue isn't the curriculum. The foundation is missing. You can't build new leadership skills on top of a nervous system that is falling apart. This is what dysregulated leaders miss. They send their middle managers to training and wonder why nothing changes. But you can train someone out of dysregulation. You have to regulate first. Then you can teach strategy. Regulated leadership is the prerequisite for everything else, not the outcome, the foundation. Section 4. What regulated leaders do instead, or what do they do differently? They start with the nervous system before the strategy, before the training, before asking for anything more. First, they notice. Regulated leaders pay attention to when their middle managers are maxed out. They don't wait for burnout to become a crisis. They see the early signs, the 3 a.m. emails, the shorter responses, the increased reactivity, and they intervene. Second, they create actual recovery, not vacation days that fill up with emails and guilt. Real rest and lets the brain calm down. Some companies are doing something different. They're slowing down to move fast, cutting meetings so managers have space to think, making it normal to talk about workloads and limits, teaching executives to check in on their middle managers the same way those managers check in on their teams. Third, regulated leaders teach regulation. They understand that nervous system regulations is not soft skills. It's survival skills during transformation. Simple practices matter. 2 minutes of slow breathing before a difficult conversation. A 5-minute pause between back-to-back meetings. These are not luxuries. They are the difference between responding and reacting. Fourth, regulated leaders redefine the role clearly. They stop letting middle managers become the catch-all for every problem nobody else wants to own. They get specific about what these leaders are actually responsible for. They create boundaries instead of endless expansion. And fifth, this is the most important one, regulated leaders regulate themselves first. Did you hear that? They regulate themselves first. Because here is the truth. You can't create regulated middle managers from dysregulated executive leadership. The cascade works both ways. When executives learn to notice their own threat response, when they learn to pause before cascading pressure down, when they learn to lead from regulation instead of anxiety, that cascade changes. Regulated executives create regulated middle managers. Regulated middle managers create regulated teams. And regulated teams can actually navigate AI transformation. The managers who make it through this crisis, they are the ones who learn to notice when their own system is maxed out. And they know what to do to bring themselves back. But they learn that from regulated leaders above them. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens when executives decide that regulation comes before strategy. So here is the question every executive should ask. Are your middle managers the bridge between your strategy and your results? Or are they the place where their dysregulation crashes into reality? That bridge is fragile. It won't bear extra weight if it's already breaking. Start your next leadership meeting differently. Don't check dashboards. Don't check KPIs. Check on your people. Ask what they are carrying, not what they are delivering, what they are carrying. The answer might change everything. If you're wondering whether dysregulation is cascading through your organization, book a 30-minute free conversation through the link I have in the description. We will measure your regulation baseline and shows you where dysregulation is hiding, because middle manager burnout isn't a middle management problem. It's a regulated leadership problem. and it's solvable. Find the link in the description. I'm Sahar Andradi. I'm your AI whisperer. This is Cafe Conversations. And remember, regulated leaders create regulated organizations. Dysregulated leaders create burnout crisis. And guess what? The choice is yours. Before I leave you here, like I always say, show me some love. Save, subscribe, share this podcast with someone that needs to see it. You can reach me on LinkedIn at Sahar Andradi, Instagram Sahar the Reinvent Coach, or you can email me sahar@saharconsulting.com. This was the Forbes article like Friday, the short one. For now, I'm gonna leave you here. Peace out.
1,